Hi, I'm Maya Lin, the designer of the new MOCA space at 211 Center Street. And the building is an early 1900s historic industrial warehouse building that was renovated in the last couple of years to house 12,000 square feet of the new MOCA space. And this building is slightly unusual in that it faces both Center and Lafayette Street. And I chose to create the entrance to MOCA facing Chinatown. As you walk around the space, there are two portal windows. One faces Center Street, faces Chinatown, and one faces Lafayette Street. You will be able to peer into a historic Chinatown shop. So in a way, the entrance, the view into the museum from modernity, from Soho, looks to the past. There's almost a depth to the functionality of the building. It's not just about a utilitarian need of the building, that there is a very symbolic undercurrent that any institution, whether it's an art museum or history museum, a library, they just definitely have a layer that I love exploring. There will be a projector playing a 1940s actual film of Chinatown, so that you'll, from the outside, you'll know that you're almost looking into the past. You're almost looking at the Chinatown shop from a shopkeeper's perspective. This is the journey wall. I think I just got too many surprised looks when I would tell people I'm from Athens, Ohio, and they'd be like, you can't be, like, what are you doing in Ohio? And I think a lot of people don't understand that Chinese Americans have really pretty much gone and moved to all parts of this country, and I think it's really important that throughout, and I think Cynthia Lee, the chief curator, one of her goals was to again change and redefine stereotypes. So for me, I decided I would create the journey wall, which is, yes, it is a fundraising wall, but it's also a way to get people as they walk in to see New York, Ohio, San Francisco, Oregon, Iowa, Minneapolis. So my goal is we would get an absolute representation, and I'm hoping that people from all over the country will be able to help and contribute. These are, again, a lot of times museums focus on the major donors, and this is also a real attempt to democratize the giving. So for $10,000 to $25,000, you can actually become someone who can really help build MOCA. I think MOCA went from being a grassroots organization to its new home, and that you can be part of that building process, but you can also help MOCA tell a bigger story. So that's as you first enter the museum. You'll notice the shop, which is beginning to evolve, is made out of a special formaldehyde-free medite and FSC fir. It's Forest Stewardship Council fir, so it's one of the greenest sourcing of timber, so we're not contributing to deforestation or the removal of old growth. Your threshold point as you enter the museum is a wooden archway that you walk through, and again, you can see even when you enter the museum that we have juxtaposed old and new, so that as you enter the museum, you've got literally a remnant of the old structuring of the building, and then we've also played off of a cleaner, simpler, metal-clad column. We've actually left the paint peeling and the handwriting on the existing columns. Once more, as you enter the museum, it'll talk about this combination of our past and our present, old and new, and that is a dance that is played out throughout the design of the space. The core exhibition is at the center of the space. It wraps around a historic, deliberately left raw, old skylit courtyard that becomes almost the heart of the museum design. As you walk through the permanent core exhibition with a single step, stories in the making of America, you're understanding the history of Chinese Americans to this country from the 1700s to the present day. In each section, there are portraits of Chinese Americans who have contributed in what they've done, their accomplishments, that are filmed and playing on these glass windows.
I landed in San Francisco in 1863 and spent 6 years there. I worked as a houseboy and a cook and continued my religious studies in the mission. I worry about Ma and Pa. I made too little money to send home. I pray to God that they are safe. Santa Barbara was better for me. Uncle taught me about merchandising.
As you walk around, each one of these stories unfolds chronologically. These portraits have been carefully written, including some of our great Chinese American writers, Gish Jen, Ha Jin, David Henry Wang, and they focus on people that the curators of the exhibit have selected that really help exemplify a certain period in time, something very important to Chinese American history. It is both a story for Chinese Americans, but for all Americans to understand our contributions to this country, and also to explore issues of race and identity, and what country, where is home, where is home, and how do we define what home is? How do we define when we've passed over that threshold? And my parents actually never felt, they almost felt between two worlds at times. They had fled China during the communist transition period, and I think it took them years before they actually felt comfortable with America as their second home. So there are so many different stories. I think Chinese Americans have really come out to this country in very distinct historic waves. And I think MOCA's mission and goal is to convey much of the differences and, again, the similarities in all these journeys.